Erev Tov Rabotai. Some people in America maybe don't know, but tonight and tomorrow is Yom Yerushalayim. So what's Yom Yerushalayim? What happened was that during the war in 1973, we captured Yerushalayim on this day. The Israeli army. We went in and we took all of Yerushalayim from the invading armies. From Jordan. That they attacked us. They were shelling us, throwing lobbing bombs, lobbing missiles at us. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu made a miracle, Baruch Hashem, after 2,000 years, we came back and took Yerushalayim. And also the Har Bayit, the Kotel, everything. We had everything in our hands. This was an incredible thing, So that's why we don't say Tachanun on this day. Also tomorrow morning, we're not going to say, whatever. Some people they do say, but it's okay, whatever. Either way, it's good. Elu ve'elu divrei Elohim chaim, right? Whatever it is you want to do, it's good. But anyway, right, I want to tell you something interesting about Pirkeh Avot. Something amazing, that I saw in the Zohar Kadosh. It comes from Pirkeh Avot, this idea. It says in Pirkeh Avot that a person has to be very careful about the light mitzvot and the light averot, to be careful, you shouldn't think just because a mitzvah is light, not something very heavy, so it's not so important, I don't have to be so careful about that. I'll be careful about the big things, but the small things, it's okay, we can skip it, whatever, right? So, what's an example? I'll give you an example, right? For instance, you come to the shul, and if you're gonna talk, right, during, the tefillah, Chazat HaShatz especially, So people don't take this so seriously, but, it says in the Shulchan Aruch, right, Hasach, the Chazat HaShatz, Gadol Avano Minasor, right? Person who talks during Chazat HaShatz, his sin is too big, to bear. So if you look in the Shulchan Aruch, by the way, this is the only time that the Shulchan Aruch uses this language, Gadol Avano Minasor. It's so big the sin, like this. Nowhere else in the Shulchan Aruch you're going to find this language. Only for a person who talks during Chazat HaShatz. So it's not a small thing, It says, by the way, in Kaf something incredible, It says, the Knesset, the community, should hire people, like Gabaim, right? And they have to go around the shul during Chazat HaShatz and make sure nobody's talking. If somebody's talking, tell them, shh, 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 shh. Go around, make sure, right? Like policemen, like police.
We already have one.
Where's that?
His landlord.
Okay, very good, Baruch Hashem. Whatever. So that's the thing, so it's an important thing. Another thing, people take for granted. People don't care so much about this. They, when somebody's doing Amidah, they pass in front of him, within Arba Amot. You're not allowed to pass within Arba Amot, which is about 8 feet, right? Within that person, 6 feet, right in front of him. You're not allowed to pass. What's the reason, by the way, a person is not allowed to pass in front of somebody? Within Arba Amot, when he's doing Amidah. According to simple meaning, the problem is, according to Pashut Pshat, is that you're taking away his kavanah. He can't concentrate when you're passing in front of him like that. It's hard for him to concentrate, So that's why he sees you, passing by like this, and, he loses his concentration. So it makes him mebulbal, it mixes him up. That's according to the simple reason. The Zohar Kadosh brings even a deeper reason for this, right? Something deeper. It says that when a person starts the Amidah, all that area, right, around him, surrounding him, is Kadosh, It's like Mekudash. It's sanctified for the Tefillah. So it's like holy, It's a holy place. And you cannot pass by there because it's Kadosh. It's like, HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Moshe Rabbeinu, right? You're in a holy place, take off your shoes. So you're in Makom Kadosh, you don't know where you are. You're in Makom Shekhinah. Same thing also says Zohar Kadosh. So a lot of people don't care about these things, They don't care. Also, when the Keilah is saying Kaddish, we're not allowed to talk, during that time also. When they're saying Kaddish. So don't start talking in the middle of Kaddish. That's another thing. But the truth is, I have to tell you, according to Halacha, once you say Damiran Be'alma, after that it's allowed to talk if you need. You know why? Because whatever we say after that, right, Al Yisrael, or Yesh Lama, that is not really part of the Kaddish. It's like a separate thing, Once you say Damiran Be'alma, the Kaddish is over. So after that, if a person really needs, he can talk. Okay, I'm just giving you some examples, right, whatever it is, but Also, I'll tell you, you have to be careful. People are not so careful about this. When they're opening up their phone, and going through here, looking there, right, all kinds of things, they see pictures, of women, not tzniut, dressed immodestly, and you're gonna look at that and keep looking at it. No, you have to right away take it away, take away this picture. Don't look at a woman who's dressed immodestly, Everything is immodest over here in this society that we live in. People are not so careful about these things, They're looking and let me see that, let me see how she looks. What are you looking at? This is asur. You're not allowed to watch a woman like this, dressed like this, half naked. Even though it's on your phone. Okay, she's not there in front of you, but still, there's a problem there. Little things like this, people are not so careful. So I'll tell you something interesting. It says in Zohar Kadosh, right? That David HaMelech, incredible, right? It says, this is what he was very careful about, to be careful about those little things, that people they're not usually careful about these things. The little mitzvot, and the little averot, not to do even the little ones. And, then it says, right, regarding David HaMelech, that he would pray to Hashem, let me go out, to the war, to the milchama, and, I want to go and actively kill people, the enemies of Hashem. I want to personally do it, with my hands. Allow me to do it with my hands. To go out to the war and to do it. So it says in Zohar Kadosh something incredible. It says, right, why did David HaMelech have the power, to make milchama like this, He was such a great warrior. Why? Because he was gibor, he had big muscles, He learned karate, or whatever, right? And then he learned, this is the reason why he was gibor. It has nothing to do with that. So you know what it was, right? They say because he kept those little mitzvot, those little things, he was medakdek. He was careful, right, to do the little things also, the little halakha, the little averah, not to do, to avoid. And because of that, Hashem gave him success everywhere he went. Wherever he went, to the milchama, he was able to defeat his enemies, and fight with them. Like close combat, with your hands. In those days, right, they didn't have guns, they didn't have, missiles and all these kinds of things. So everything was like with your hands, You took a sword, you took a bow and arrow, with your hands you made the milchama. This is the way it was, and it's hard, Like, can you imagine? You have to go in there, and actually, with your hands you have to kill him. With your hands you have to kill a person. Not with some kind of a gun, just press a button, and that's it, right? So yeah, it requires gevurah, requires might, to do such a thing like this. David HaMelech was not afraid, and he was always successful. This is the reason why, because he was medakdek. He was careful about the little things, the little halachot. The people don't usually. That's what it says about David HaMelech. Then after David HaMelech, right, came another king, another melech, who was from him, right, the same family. What was his name? Asa, right? So Asa, it says about Asa that he told HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he said, you know what? I'm not able, like David HaMelech, like my father, my forefather, David HaMelech, right? I can't go in there, and kill somebody, with my hands. I don't have the koach for this, because this requires, some kind of a gvura, some kind of might, courage. You know what I mean? He says, I don't have the courage for that. So he says, you know what I'll do? He says, Hashem, he tells Hashem like this. He prays to Hashem. I'll go out there, and I'll chase them, but, you kill them. I don't want to physically, kill them, myself. I'm too scared. I don't want to get involved, physically like that, to kill that person. So I'll chase them, and you kill them, you do the rest, right? So Hashem said to Asa, okay, whatever you ask me, I'm going to do for you. That's why he was able to win the war, right? He had a big war, against the enemies. He fought against the enemies, and he was Benatzech. He won the war. That was Asa. So it says this is Zohar Kadosh. Why wasn't he able to do like David HaMelech? Because he was tzaddik Asa, but he wasn't so medakdek. He wasn't so careful about the little things like David HaMelech. And this is the reason why he was afraid to go in and kill people himself, because he didn't have the diktuk of the mitzvot. He wasn't so careful with the mitzvot like David HaMelech. Then there was another king, right, came from the same family, right? Who was this? Yehoshaphat, right? Also a tzaddik, big tzaddik, He went out to war to fight against the enemies, and he, like they say, he was even less than Asa, not as good as Asa even, right? What does that mean? Yehoshaphat, he would tell Hashem, listen, he says, I'm really, I'm scared, to go out and chase after them, or also all the more so to kill them, So he says, what I'll do, I'll, say shira to you, I'll say some tehillim, I'll say some praises to you, right? Nice things. And you go out and kill the enemies, I don't want to go out there, and chase them, I don't want to kill them, nothing like that. You do that for me, So Hashem did it for him. Just like he asked HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You know? So says Zohar Kadosh, why wasn't he able to even go out and chase them, like Asa? You know, and all the more so he wasn't able to do like David HaMelech, to kill them, because he wasn't so medakdek on the little things, you know, on the little mitzvot. He wasn't so medakdek on them, you know? So because of that, he didn't have the courage and the power, the koach, to go out there and to chase them even, you know? He was even afraid to do that. That's why he told Hashem, you do it for me. so Hashem listened to him, right? Because he was tzaddik after all, you know. So then we have one more, right? It says one more melech, right? Who was this? This was Chizkiyahu. Right? Chizkiyahu was the king that the big nest was made for him, you know. The king of Ashur came, right, Sancheriv against him, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu made a nest and destroyed the whole army of Sancheriv and saved Chizkiyahu, right? Chizkiyahu was also tzaddik. That's what it says, right? He was also from Danielov, same family. All the same, one family, right? So it says about Chizkiyahu, he told HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he says, you know, I'm not like the level, you know, of David HaMelech. I'm not on that level. I'm not on the level of Asa. I'm not on the level of Yehoshaphat. So he says, you know what? He says, why? Because Yehoshaphat, at least he was doing shirah. He was singing to you, right? Saying praises to you. He says, I'm not even going to do that. I'm not on the level to do that. You know? So that's why, you know, he said to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I just want to sit home, you know, let me sit home, and pick up a nice, sefer, right, to learn or something, whatever. But you go out and do everything for me, you know. I'm not going to sing for you. I'm not going to go out there and chase them. I'm not going to go out and kill them physically. You do everything, you know. I'll just sit there, you know, and you do everything. So Hashem listened to him also. Can you imagine? He was a tzaddik. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu listened to him and saved Am Yisrael, saved Yerushalayim. That Sancheriv was not able to destroy Yerushalayim, right? Like we said, today's Yom Yerushalayim, right? So he was not able to destroy Yerushalayim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu went out there, he sent an angel, you know, Malach, and he killed all the army of Sancheriv, right? Every one of them died, you know. Like miracle, nest, you know. Nest Gamur, just like we have a nest in Yom Yerushalayim, right? We went out there and we conquered Yerushalayim. Same thing. So, right, it says in the Zohar Kadosh, why was Chizkiyahu, you know, not able to do any of these things, you know? Not to kill people, not to chase them, and even to say shirah, he wasn't able to do. You know, because he wasn't so medakdek on the mitzvot, you know? He was even less, even lower.
I think he said, he told us, whoever study Torah, nobody's going to touch us, so we're going to study Torah, and you do it.
Yeah, it's true, you know. But they say, by the way, you know, Chizkiyahu, even shirah he didn't want to say, you know. Even shirah, what's the big deal, you know? Say some shirah, sing to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, say some praises, you know. Say some teilim. Even that he didn't want to do. He just told HaKadosh Baruch Hu, let me sit, you know, and you do everything, you know. You do the whole job. By the way, they say, you know, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu was thinking, you know, when the Sancheriv came against Chizkiyahu, he was thinking to make this Gog Magog, you know, to make this Mashiach. The Chizkiyahu should be Mashiach, you know, and Sancheriv should be Gog Magog, you know, and that's it, you know, finish, right, the whole thing, the Geulah, right over there. So they say one thing, you know, didn't work over there, and that's why when he wasn't Mashiach, Chizkiyahu. What was the thing? So they say, you know, one thing he did bad. Which is that what? He didn't say shirah, you know, he didn't sing to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you know. They say this is the reason why that HaKadosh Baruch Hu did not make him Mashiach, and he didn't make Sancheriv Gog Magog. You know? So you see from there, right, that Chizkiyahu wasn't even on that level to sing to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You know, it's an incredible thing, you know, to say Hallel, you know, something, whatever it is, right, to sing to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Even that he didn't want to do. So, what do we see from there, right? The lesson is very, very clear, right? That a person who's medakdek on the mitzvot,